The Russian department has bring into notice, very big notice, and signed a proper agreement with the Biafran forces. And I must tell you, in case you're not paying attention, that this is no longer the point of dealing with things that shouldn't be dealt with. Now listen very, very attentively. For so long we have been trying to reach out this deal that has to do with the Biafran people, the Biafran struggle, whatever the case may be, and getting along into the necessary being. And by so doing, we can, for instance, look at ourselves into conservation, and much conservative will be taken so properly well that mountains may move and people will get to see the light that we share across. This is one thing that I have refused to say for long. If we do not help ourselves at this long run, we may end up, beating ourselves so hard. Now, what is the agreement? The agreement is let the Biafran people go and everything will be measured the way it should. But Jesus said over the dead body. But what is more of important is this. As long as we continue to look at our enemies in the eyes and tell them the actual truth they need to know, we have not offended anybody. And that's their weakness. They know they cannot be little Biafrans. They know in their heart that it's difficult for them to be little Biafrans. And that's where the gospel begins. That's where all this gospel begins to invade. And until we learn the actual sense of becoming, we can never learn the actual sense of rejecting. Biafrans must reject whatever that has been given to them as a nation. So, of course, you know that there was a time that the Russian department came up with a kind of figure of speech that, if possible, would have assisted in liberating Biafra and the Biafran people. But of course, the Americans and the Europeans are fighting so hard to make a whole mess out of this. But we are not giving up. A nation will always continue to fight till redemption is achieved. And when it is finally achieved, we must, at the same time, look at ourselves in the picture and tell ourselves this very truth. We are the light of the world, and the world cannot succeed without us. Unless we learn this very step, then there's nothing to learn again. Biafrans must be allowed to win, must be intentionally allowed to win. And if victory is not given, then victory must be taken. There's no two ways about it. No two ways about it. The most important message has gotten to those who have ears. For the days of becoming has now become the days of understanding. Until we have these ears to help ourselves listen properly to the tones of what it is, everybody will understand the message. Biafra or nothing. There's a possible redemption that we must have when sending our message to the gospel order. one must say that we do not know what we do, or we do not know how we say them, but one thing is very important, and the Rubicon of knowledge, that Biafra actualization is taking a new turn. So as we start off this very mission, and in the continuation of what it may be, we must say the way it is, that Biafran actualization must be handled very maturely, unless maybe we're not ready to face what must be faced with the truth and with so much disunity. Let's be guided in our quest for freedom, for what is given must be taken, for what is taken must be given. As we are now getting closer to where we call home, we must duly understand the most important part of this message, which is getting along and making so many positive impacts. One must say, what is the Giovannia behind the struggle, as Simon Eba is now very close to this Biafran referendum, as the ticket has been granted to him. Only one man has been pushing this struggle ever since Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya. They may say they do not owe us any explanation for the lies and the hatred they have constituted against the Biafran nations. One must say, very deserving. Our knowledge, so far so good, has really covered the four words of what it is. And most importantly, these four words is now making more sense than usual. Unless you are being educated on it, you will join them in criticizing the Biafra for fighting for their freedom. We are committed to actualizing this nation and making sure that each and every one of Biafran citizens has a peace they call home, has a spot they redefine as home. And that's what makes more sense to us. We cannot be fighters and wallowers of our fate, whereas people who are struggling will just sit back and pretend as if we do not know how the struggles do happen. One of the most amazing artifacts here is that we can now see through the wars that Biafra is coming to pass. Those who fought against us, those who said it was never possible, those who lied with their heads up, can now see that this is no longer a gimmick game for children. We are now stating facts, and our facts will be made clear to our enemies. The Biafran actualization is a game of throne, and we must be victoriously ready.